everyone, welcome back. My name is Diana. This is my channel Bookish Di, and today I am doing my April TBR for the Magical Readathon Spring Equinox. So for folks who don't know, the Magical Readathon is a month-long readathon hosted by G at the Book Roast. I'll link her spring announcement video down below. But basically, it's set in a world that she's created, Aurelium. There are some year-long challenges that I'm not really doing. However, every year around April and then in August, there's the Magical Readathon where there are different classes that have different prompts. So for spring semester, each class has one prompt, and then come fall, we get more specialized, and each class has 3 different prompts representing 3 different levels. And then part of the fun is, based on the prompts that you read, the classes that you take, you can choose a career. And so what I've done in the past is typically just chosen prompts for every class and then choose a career based off of what classes I finished. But this April is going to be a little bit different from me, and that's mainly because 2 video games that I'm really looking forward to are coming out at the end of April. We have the Horizon Forbidden West DLC, and then Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So knowing myself, I am going to want to immerse myself in those video games. So to try and make my April much less stressful, I'm choosing a career ahead of time, and apologies if the camera is shaking. Little Miss Leia wants to rub her face against the tripod. But anyway, so I have chosen my career. I am choosing to be a star speaker, so it is someone who communes with the stars. The career just sounded interesting. I think last year I did the Master of Elements, so I wanted to change things up a bit. Plus, there are only 5 required classes for this career, and all of the prompts were for things that would be relatively easy for me to do. So let's get into it. So like I said, I have 5 required classes that I need to take for Star Speaker. So the first is Art of Illusion, which is to match your clothes color to the cover of the book. And so for this, I'm going to be doing The Last Watch by J.S. Dews. This is a space opera, science fantasy. It's been compared, ma'am, do not. It's been compared, sorry, Leia's about to record, which she knows she's not supposed to do. But it is a science fiction novel that's been compared to The Expanse. And my friend Renee from Fangirl Happy Hour and Lady Business recommended me this book, and it sounds really interesting, and I am trying to read it this year, so this will let me prioritize that. The second class that I need to take is Astronomy, and that is to read a book with 2 E's in the title, and for that I am reading Snowspell by Stephanie Burgess. This is a magical fantasy, like a fantasy romance, and I don't know too much about it. I know several of my friends have read it and really enjoyed it, and I have the ebook, and I am trying to get through things that I already own this year, so I figured this is a really good opportunity to do so. Then we have Inscription, which is to read a book from your top shelf, and for that, it's actually going to be a reread. Again, I'm trying to be kind to myself with this, and that is Arisha and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. This is the first book in the Pandava Quintet, and it is on my series TBR for 2023. So I figure rereading this will restart me in terms of reading the rest of the series. It's relatively short. Like I said, it is a reread, and I am really looking forward to re-immersing myself in this world. The 4th class is Lore, and that is to read a book with a map, and this is going to be my feat of strength for April and potentially for the rest of the year, because for that, I am reading ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. And yes, it does have a map. It has the You Didn't Even Try, Sarah, by having a map that is very blatantly Great Britain and Ireland. So yeah, there's a reason I'm reading this. You will find out about it soon. But yeah, I should probably have a backup book just in case, because there is a very high chance I might DNF this. But for now, my lore book is ACOTAR. We'll see how much I get through. We'll see how drunk I get while I read it. Because I am not expecting anything good from this experience. And then finally, for Cyanox Divination, it is to read a book with clouds on the cover and the title. And for that, I am going to be reading The Keeper 6 by Kate Elliott. This is her newest novella published by Tor.com. Kate Elliott is one of my favorite writers of all time. She's actually coming to my area later in April, and I'm really hoping I'll be able to go to the book event. It's co-hosted with Fonda Lee. So anyway, there are, you know, clouds on the cover. So I've heard really excellent things about this book. It's about a grandma who gets the gang back together to rescue her kidnapped son. And yeah, it should be a fun time. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kate Elliott has put together for this book. And then for the additional classes that I'm not pressuring myself to finish, however, if I do finish them, that would be nice. So in alphabetical order, we have Alchemy, which is read a book with metal in the title. And so for that, I'm going to attempt City of Brass by S.I. Chakraborty. This is a historical fantasy set in the Middle East. It follows a young woman who finds out that she has jinn blood and is taken to Daevabad, and as well as the prince of the current ruler of the city. I've heard really great things about this series. I have been meaning to pick it up for a while. I did, I think, try to start it in 2020, but I just was not in the right space for it. So I'm going to attempt it again at some point, maybe. So yeah, this is definitely a stretch goal just because she's a chunky girl. Then for animal studies, this is flip a coin to see if you have fiction or nonfiction. So I'm going to flip a coin and we'll see if it works. So I have a loonie with me. So heads is going to be nonfiction and tails is going to be fiction. And I have tails, so that is going to be fiction. And for that, I'm going to be reading Georgie All Along by Kate Clyburn. This is her newest romance. I didn't read her latest one, but I really loved her Luck of the Draw romance series, and I enjoyed Love Lettering. So I've heard this one is kind of inspired by Emma, so we'll see how I like it. Like I said, I've enjoyed Kate Clyburn in the past, and one of my friends who's read it has said very good things about it, so I think it will be a good time. Then Conjuration is recommended by a friend, and for that, I'm going to be doing Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I have not ever read Erin Morgenstern's books, although I know people really love The Night Circus as well as Starless Sea. Again, I have the ebook copy of this, so getting stuff off my TBR. And this is recommended by my IRL friend who really loves Morgenstern's writing, so I think this will be an interesting pick as well. Then Demonology is read a book that compares to your favorite. So they didn't say what favorite it needed to be compared to, so I might be bending the rules a little bit with this. But for that, I am going to try to read Fault Tolerance by Valerie Valdez. This is the final book in the Chilling Effect series, and this is very much Mass Effect fan fiction, but original kind of. Like, you can definitely tell it was inspired by Mass Effect, which is my favorite video game, so I think that counts. Anyway, this is on my series TBR. I have one book left, and I'm really interested to see how Valdez sticks the landing with this series with Eva Innocente and the captain of the crew of La Sirena Negra. Then for elemental studies, the prompt is read a book with flowers on the cover. So going back to my physical TBR, I am going to try The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. This by Zoraida Cordova. This is Cordova's first adult book. And I've read some stuff by Cordova in the past and I've liked her writing. So I think this could be really interesting. I've heard very good things about it and I really love the cover, and as you can see, there are flowers. And again, it is on my physical TBR, so reading that down slowly but surely. For spells and incantations, the prompt is to read a book between 389 and 415 pages. And coming in at 394 pages, I have Iron Widow by Jiren J. Zhao. This is their debut YA novel, and it is YA science fiction that is inspired by Chinese history as well as mecha anime. And I've heard amazing things about it. It is female rage, you have polyamory, you have really interesting world building. I had been planning to read it this year because initially the sequel is coming out in 2023. However, it's gotten moved, but this has been on my shelf for a while and I am really looking forward to finally reading this book that people have been raving about. Then we have Artificerie, and this is to read a book while eating a snack. And I am planning on doing Magic Burns by Alona Andrews for this. This is the 4th Kate Daniels novel. This is part of the year-long Kate Daniels Readathon that's happening in My Name is Money Ness's Discord. And I figure I'm going to be doing this prompt anyway, but I'm very excited to see what shenanigans Kate gets up to. It sounds like we're going to be getting some more world building, getting some more information on her backstory, so this should be really fun. And I tend to read these, like start reading these books while I'm eating, so I think, again, that will fit the prompt very nicely. Then for restoration, it is Shuffle Books, Close Your Eyes on Point. And so I did that off camera because I didn't really have a good setup for it. And I did that for some of my new book acquisitions. And for that, I have Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars. This is set between Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And it follows Cal Kestis and the crew of the Stinger Mantis. And I absolutely do need to read this actually before April 28th when the game comes out. And I lose the rest of my month to playing Star Wars. So this should be fun. I've heard it's very good and very gay, which I appreciate. And then finally, we have Shapeshifting, which is read a book with a wolf on the cover, title, or author name. And so for this, this is actually probably the prompt that I'm most likely going to change because I do have some other books. But going with the physical TBR, I am going to choose Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed for this prompt. This is their debut fantasy novel, and it follows a young woman who lives in a pagan community, and every year they have to sacrifice one of the women in their community to the king, and she gets chosen as a decoy, and as part of that, she's trying to find out what happened to her mother, why isn't she like the other people in her village, and is there a way that she can stop the king from harming any more people. So I've heard kind of mixed things about this, but like I said, I've had it since 2021. I have for a while, so I'm hoping I'll get around to it in April, and if not, I will try and read it at another time. So that's my TBR. There is going to be some other books I'm probably going to be reading in April, depending on my library availability, as well as the buddy read that I'm doing. But yeah, so in general, 5 books I'm for sure reading, and prompts for everything else. I'm really looking forward to it. I really love the Magical Readathon. It's just a really fun readathon. I really like the world building that G's put into this. I think what she's created is amazing. And just a reminder, if you are eligible to nominate things for the Hugos, Magical Readathon does count for best related work. And yes, I am nominating it for best related work. Anyway, are you participating in the Magical Readathon? If you are, what career are you going with? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll chat with you later. Bye.